If you want to build wealth, it's not about what you do today, tomorrow, or next week, or next month. It's about the cumulative habits that you do every single day for years. And in today's video, I'm going to share my journey until now, but also what I'm continuing to do in order to build my wealth in the future. But also the lessons that I have learned so far along the way. And if you follow these lessons, you'll be on your way to build the wealth that you've always wanted. So, here it is. So in a lot of videos, there are people talking about how to build your wealth, and to do that, they are telling you to live below your means and investing the rest of that. But while there is some truth to that, you're not actually going to build some wealth by cutting down on your expenses. And on top of that, there are a lot of you guys that are already cutting down as much as possible and still only having enough money to buy groceries and not have anything left at the end of the month. So obviously you need to increase your income. So the question now is, how do I build my income? A few years ago, I was working at one of the worst jobs that I've ever had in my entire life. It consisted of cleaning up a pile of sand with some shovels and with ankle deep water. And on top of that, it was in a low light building. And that was just for a brick factory. So as soon as I cleaned up one pile of sand, I moved on to another pile of sand to do the exact same thing. And as soon as that one was finished, I returned to the first pile, which was there as I had done absolutely nothing. And the bad conditions wasn't the only thing that I had, because it was also paid on minimum wage. At that time, the best way to increase my income was to find a better paying job. So in that case, I was working behind a rubbish truck or a garbage truck for you American guys here, which wasn't a very high paying job at all, but was still a lot better than the brick factory, including the working conditions. Yes, cleaning up rubbish or garbage is way better still than working at that brick factory. You see, the very first way of actually increasing your income is to switch jobs instead of working the same job for decades. There have been several studies that have been made that say that to increase your income, you're way better off by switching jobs than working at the same job for years. Now, the first mistake that I did here, switching from one job to the next, is I didn't focus on a high paying job or learning the skills in order to get paid a lot more, because working behind a rubbish truck, we'll stick with that one instead of garbage, isn't a very high paying skill. Anybody can do that with absolutely nothing. Now, if you learn a skill that is in demand, you will be able to make way more, especially if you switch jobs every 2 to 3 years. Now, once you increase your income but your living expenses stay exactly the same, you will have money to invest in stocks or ETFs. Now, what I like to invest in personally is ETFs that pay dividends. First of all, you're getting paid by several different companies, so if one goes down, it doesn't really matter because the other ones will go up. And the second thing is they pay dividends. And for that, no matter if the stock is going up or down, they will still be giving you money every single month or every single 6 months or whatever they pay, but they will pay you all the time. So if there's a downturn in the economy, just like there was in 2008, you won't get burnt as hard as people that invest in single stocks, because if one company goes down, then you're out. But if one of those goes down and you invest in an ETF that has thousands of companies, then it isn't a big deal. You still have 999 other companies that are still working out. But the issue with investing in stocks, or anything for that matter, is that while it almost guarantees that you'll become a millionaire, if you invest over time, it will take you decades to become one of them. And we don't want to become a millionaire in decades, we want to become a millionaire now. So while investing is a good habit to have, it's probably not a good idea to stay at your job and rely just on that in order to have the money to invest, because you'll be rich in 40 or 50 years time. So how do you go from there? At the time I was working behind a rubbish truck and working some odd jobs here and there. I was looking at some videos of people that were talking about finances and business and things like that. So after getting fired from every single job that I had, I started to try and build some businesses and side hustles from that time that I had. And that is really what could actually change your life. If you're struggling to make ends meet and you finally decide to build a side hustle, the little money that you're going to make at the beginning will get you ahead of 99% of people. And while I failed in most businesses that I tried, especially at the beginning, this was still the single best decision that I had ever made in my entire life. You see, the very first side hustle that I tried was making apps for iPhones, and I made a couple of dollars here and there, but nothing was even close to what I was hoping that I could make. But here's what I learned from that. Number one is marketing is really important, and that's everything if you want to build a business. Number two is I'm terrible at coding and I don't want to do that. And number three, anybody can learn anything with Google, YouTube, and maybe a couple of cheap courses. So if you don't have any skills, what you can do is you pick a skill that's in demand, and I've got plenty of videos about this on my YouTube channel, and all you need to do is do the basics, learn the basics and learn them well. And you could do this in a week, and no matter what your business is, in a week, if you dive really deep in it, you can learn every single one of the basics and do it well. And then what you need to do is implement it, because you don't want to have analysis paralysis. So what happened next? I tried drop shipping and that failed too. Obviously I made a couple of dollars, but still nothing that I was hoping for. But with the drop shipping business, I decided to start a YouTube channel where I would document what I was learning, what the tips and tricks were, and how my store was doing. And since I was working with Shopify and using Shopify to build my dropshipping store, then I decided to become an affiliate for Shopify. And that's how I ended up making $100 with just 12 subscribers. And that, by the way, was way more than I had made with my dropshipping store. That is also when it was proved to me that you could actually make really good money online, even though $100 isn't going to make you live. Still, it just proved to me that it was possible. And that is also when I started to double down to buy some courses, no matter how cheap or expensive, as long as I could afford them, obviously. You don't want to go into debt to buy a course. And that's also when I found the most valuable course to me, which was also the cheapest course that I had ever bought, and I put that link in the description because yes, since it was that good, I became an affiliate for that course. And in turn, affiliate marketing has also become my biggest earner from jobs, anything. Investing. When you get to a point where you make 6 or 7 figures, note that I said when and not if. You still have to put in the work to grow. Now, if you're doing affiliate marketing, for example, just like I do quite a lot, then it's semi-passive income, but you still have to work on your ads, you still have to work on your content. If you're doing this for content, you still have to put in the work. You can't just coast and expect the money to just come in like if you were doing something. But as I said earlier in this video, and that's why investing, even if you don't have much to invest, comes into play, because that's when true passive income actually happens. And no matter where your business, job or side hustle goes, you'll still have the money coming in after a while. And with this, your wealth will grow exponentially. Now, if you want to build your wealth as fast as possible, you will need to learn as fast as possible and as much as possible. As the saying goes, the more you learn, the more you earn, and that is 100% true. Now, even though when you build a side hustle, you need to start as fast as possible, you will also need at the same time to learn as much as possible. And that's how your side hustle will grow in terms of income if you try to increase by 1% every single time you do something about your side hustle. Just try and get better by 1%. Now, if you're not too sure what business you want to start, then I recommend that you watch this video right here. That will give you the best businesses to start even if you're a beginner. And that in turn will build your wealth as fast as possible. I believe in you, and you can do anything you want in this life.